Hi everybody, I'm Derrick and welcome to the Central Spacers. Got a fun video for you today. Before we get into it, if you guys want to like and subscribe, we make a lot of fun content, Twin Sun stuff. I'm getting more into talking about the competitive game and talking about cards in general. So if you love SWU, which I know you do, hit the like and subscribe button for me. Thanks. So who am I? I'm Derrick. I top 8'd Denver with Quinlan Vos. I've been playing Quinlan Vos not that long actually, but the deck has really been speaking to me and we've been doing pretty well with it. And this weekend I won my first Planetary Qualifier with Quinlan Vos. I did have my invite from Denver, but having a mat that says champion on it was important to me, so I wanted to try to win a PQ, and I won the first one of the season, 8 minutes from my house, so that's pretty fun. I'll do a different video about the PQ in general, because today we're talking about something a little more specific. We're talking about how to play into Qi'ra. I had some people ask how I handle Qi'ra, and I actually played a Qi'ra in top 4 on stream, so I have some footage to go over with you all. I've sped it up, and I'm not going to talk the whole time, but it'll give you a decent idea of how I approach the matchup. Here is the matchup data. In Richmond, it looks like the matchup was really unfavored for Quinlan. I believe it might have been mostly ECL Qi'ras, and that's probably why. I think ECL is a lot worse for Quinlan than Data Vault is, but even Leal showed a negative win rate into Qi'ra. I'm not sure I agree with what the statistics say. I think a lot of people are playing Quinlan incorrectly. The main ideas in the matchup are to deny Overwhelming Barrage. That is their sort of power card to clear most of your units by weakening them with Qi'ra and then Overwhelming Barraging you. You want to discard their hand while taking advantage of your smuggle cards to build your hand. Ideally, you want to hand discard them to 0 when you do it, but even getting them down to 1 card is pretty good. But you also want to hold back enough resources like Falcon and Cassian to bounce back after they super laser blast you. I usually try to be ready to put 2 units back down after a super laser blast, so I don't just do 1 unit and then it dies to power the Dark Side or Avenger. And then when in doubt, at step 4 is just control the board. I actually feel like I play control into Qi'ra once we get past her flip turn, so we will see that in the video here. Here's the list I played to the PQ. It's kind of similar to the Denver list, but we took out all the Django cards and had room for other things, played some more upgrade hate. If you see the hidden sharpshooters were maybe a little cute, but the thing is Qi'ra can ramp to 5, flip to Overwhelming Barrage you, and then you can still kill her with a hidden sharpshooter. I don't believe I did that in either of the stream games, but I did it in my Swiss matches against Qi'ra Data Vaults. Sometimes it bricks their turn. Sometimes they were planning on playing Overwhelming Barrage for the turn and didn't expect for Qi'ra to die, and then they don't do anything. Now, I don't think that should be assumed when you play against Qi'ra, that you're going to have the opportunity to just brick their turn, but denying Overwhelming Barrage is what we want to do in the end, and when Qi'ra flips, Hidden Sharpshooter shuts down the Overwhelming Barrage. So let's get into the footage here. Alright, so here I'm playing against a pretty good player. He day 2'd Denver with Qi'ra. I don't know Qi'ra very well from the driver's seat, so I can't speak to any of his plays, but I've sped the footage up here. Let's look through it. We're going pretty quick here, so here's a good lead. Sabine is a good lead in the Hylaban because you can trade with Hylaban after he shields it. He has a response to it, but hey, we're making him trade cards with us here, so he does have another removal on the next turn as well to keep my board state clear. But here we go with the Qi'ra, and we're going to call that Overwhelming Barrage to not let him Overwhelming Barrage us. So we're going to shut down the barrage immediately, making him get rid of Qi'ra before he can do so. So he could have flipped and killed me with Qi'ra there, but then he dies pretty easily to a Plo Koon for free before Plo Koon even ambushes anything. So yep. And something against Qi'ra, like if you draw the sharpshooter, you can kind of try to be aggressive to get her to flip and then throw the sharpshooter into Qi'ra. When she's on 5, you're on 4. But Here that didn't happen, so she didn't ramp. She denied the board, which I think is probably right because Quinlan wants to own the board. And here we're very ahead on the board at this point. I don't really push damage against Qi'ra until she is gone, which, you know, is Quinlan usually pushes damage on the flip. Anyway, early turns are for board control, and even against Qi'ra, that's not a huge difference. And he gets a big gunship out here, but we are still denying the overwhelming barrage with Qi'ra, so he still cannot clean up our board. If he had overwhelming barrage here, we would not be as happy. We kind of draw pretty nice here. Off his Hylobon Enforcer, we draw a Force Throw, so we're able to just shred his hand down to one card. And get rid of the gunship, which is just fantastic. Force Throw, Ahsoka, Force Throw, just clears the gunship, and we own the board again. Gunship gets rid of Quinlan Vos. Pretty nice math there for him. But that is his whole turn, is play gunship, shield gunship. So we just push damage. He shields the gunship. And then I play a Guerrilla Soldier here, which feels pretty bad when they have a gunship on the board. I would not recommend really doing that. I remember it feeling bad when I did it, but I wasn't sure what else my other play was going to be. And we were ahead enough, he really can't race me at this point, I don't think, if he leaves the board the way it is. So I think it was okay here, but maybe a little risky. I would watch out for that in the future with the soldier. Qi'ra's still denying overwhelming barrage, so he can't clean up our board state from space like he probably wants to do. We're getting a little out of hand. If he leaves us alone on the ground, he probably loses. So he has to blast us. But we have all of our resources up and are able to recover from a blast with a Cassian while pushing damage, which we love pushing damage at this point. So play A-Wing to get a second unit down so that no matter what, if he powers us, if he Avengers us, we get to win with a pump of any kind. I have Surprise Strike in hand here. I don't show it to him until he resolves the Vader because I don't know that he doesn't play any Space Sentinels at all. But once he shows us the Long Pike, we Surprise Strike for game. So that's game one. Game two, I'll tell you right now, we're going to see what not to do. We're going to see what not to do. Almost immediately what not to do. So I swing into Pershing. He draws a card. Pershing has 2 health left now. And why do I Tarkin Town him? I'm going to pause it right here, actually, because our plays that follow up are a Cassian and a Super Laser Tech. If I swing into Pershing, Pershing draws, has 2 health left. I play Cassian. He plays Super Laser Tech. I take initiative. I kill his Pershing with my L3. Why did I spend the Tarkin Town? I was awake at like 5 p.m. before this tournament, and I woke up at 7 to go to this tournament, so I was a little lower on sleep than I would have liked. I'm not proud of every play I made in the day, but this was definitely a good example of how to punt, not only in this matchup, but in other matchups. In the blue matchups, you want to save your Tarkin Town for at least something bigger than a Pershing. Pershing's bad, he draws cards, but especially in this situation, where we could have shut him down with initiative before he even drew a second card, don't spend your Tarkin Town. That was incredibly bad on my part, and I get very punished for it here in a couple turns. We'll see how it plays out. Anakin Skywalker. Love that card. Early Qi'ra flip here. Now, here's the big point at which it counts. He is discarding a 2-drop, which, you know, it's good to hold low drops against Quinlan when they Tarkin Town you. I'm trying to get lucky with a force throw. Probably a little eager, a little optimistic on my part. But if I would still have Tarkentown, the L3 damage is not relevant, really. The damage I did with L3 is not relevant at all. I would be able to force throw the 2 damage from the Brute onto Qi'ra and then Tarkentown the gunship. So Tarkentown would wipe the gunship. Qi'ra would have 2 health left. If Qi'ra wants to attack into one of my units this turn, she dies. If she wants to hit my base, I kill her with initiative on the next turn. So not having Tarkentown here is what basically loses me the game, because after this, her board state she owns the board. She gets a board state I can't deal with her gunships, and then I lose. So here's the other force throw, and I have to choose between the 2 instead of just being able to kill Qi'ra and win the game, because this gunship's still alive, and it's about to get pumped to 7-1 with a shield. And there's the barrage. I can't deny the barrage this game, so it eats me alive. And then I'm going to get hit for 9. Whee! And here's the problem with Guerrilla Soldier into the gunship is I'm the one pushing it to 9 damage. So already we are at 15 damage on our base. And as you can see, my last card in hand is a Spark of Rebellion. We're not going anywhere fast here. Did I accidentally tap a resource? Oh, no. Okay. I believe he hits me really hard and I scoop this turn because there's not much we can do about that gunship. I was hoping to draw a Plo Koon to just ping the gunship. Yep, I scoop. So the misuse of Tarkentown lost us that game there. Game 3 here, I remember I'm very patient about these brutes. I always get rid of the brute. Sure, I let him heal. That's fine. He can heal. But we don't want him to have any units at all. Even the brute can overwhelming and kill damaged units. The brute can swing into my space, which at this point I am owning the space arena while my opponent ramps. And this game has some great examples of controlling the board here in a couple turns. So Qi'ra, and again we are going to deny the overwhelming barrage. And he doesn't like that so much. He feels that he has to come kill Qi'ra, which is awesome, because then his Qi'ra goes to 1 health left, meaning our red 5 can clean it up for free, which just is insane. Red 5 in these long matchups, if you can get him to stick, just generates so much value against your opponents when you can damage them. And he plays Vader into an empty board. He doesn't let me swing with A-Wing and swing with Quinlan before he goes, which is probably right. Because if he passes back to back after I swing with A-Wing, I'm not sure that I flip. Maybe claim. I'm not sure. And there's that brute again. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to let that brute live. It's very important to control the board. We don't have Qi'ra to shut off overwhelming barrage, so if this Vader lives, I know my board's gone. I know he has it in his hand. And now this game, since we've held up the Tarkentown, we get to blaster into Vader, and then use Tarkentown to get rid of Vader. And then we're actually going to pilot Anakin Skywalker here. So we're going to see the use of Anakin's flexibility here to not only to be able to remove the Brute while keeping the A-Wing alive, which is huge because this A-Wing's going to start hitting our opponent for 5 here. So as we maintain control of the board, the A-Wing's going to apply the pressure to close the game. Because while we need to control the board, we also need to win the game. And here's a big turn. My opponent lands a Walker, and we have to get rid of that. If Walker sticks, not only the overwhelming barrage threat, but if Walker sticks as a healing engine for our opponent, we are going to lose. So I'm thinking about everything here. Throw Quinlan at the Walker. Red 5 pings the Walker. I push 5 damage. And then we are going to smuggle Cassie and Andor and dispatch the Walker. So the Walker is incredibly important to our opponent. We need to get it off the board. Like I said, once we get ahead on board, we are basically the ones playing control, kind of. And there's that third Brute. He can barrage the Brute and kill one of my units. He can swing the Brute into a unit here. I maybe don't need to get rid of this one here. Let's see. I don't remember which way I take this one. We Qi'ra again. Do I call barrage again? A third time? I do call barrage a third time. We are just denying barrage because I don't want him to play it. He's going to power me. We're going to give him, I think, red 5 anyway, which is what I really didn't want to lose because of all the value. Because if he starts playing more ground units that are damaged or ambush, I want to be able to make them easier to get rid of. But I do give him the red 5 here. At this point, okay. I don't remember if I hit the Brute or not. It's blood in the water time, I think, for me to push a little harder on the damage here. Also, red 5 or Green Squadron A-Wing, I'm sorry, lives from the Brute swing, so it's not even that big of a deal to let it live there with barrage turned off. And he feels pressured to blast again, which is good. We want to keep our opponent pressured to blast, especially when we have a follow-up such as Guerrilla Soldier here. Guerrilla Soldier showing its power there off a blast is hey, you're going to take 3 and maybe 5. And off a blast, we always want to put down 2 more units. And Ahsoka's not a May trigger. I want to actually leave my opponent's last card, I think. I don't remember why I chose that route, but we clear his board again. We don't let him keep anything. No barraging. No stabilizing, thank you. And then here we go with another Vader. I believe my opponent gets very unfortunate here. I think he misses completely, if I remember correctly. Yep. It's unfortunate for our opponent. And if you look, I'm at 9 resources. I go very high on resources with this deck. I really don't stop resourcing. I played a lot of smuggle cards, so I have a ton of cards in my hand. A ton of options at all times. And one of those options is Han Solo, which at this point, I'm just answering everything my opponent does. Yes, he had Super Laser Blast, but we've bounced back from it. As long as we can recover from it and maintain control. There's another blast. This is blast number 2, and time to bounce back again. There's another Cassian Andor. Pushing damage, putting him pretty low now. I feel like we take his cards here. Oh, yeah. Yep, I've been very patient with the Ahsoka Force Throw here to hold the cards and take all of his options away. So, his Hylabon gets to live, but his hand is gone here. This is top 4, so we were able to see each other's sideboards ahead of time. He drew one of his sideboard cards, and I have been holding a counter to that sideboard card the entire game. I drew it on turn 3, I believe. Yeah, taking his hand after that blast was kind of brutal. He's going to traitorous my Cassian, but I have that Fang Fighter I've been holding the whole game in my hand here, so there's not much left in this game. I'm checking his discard here just to be like, yeah, 2 blasts are gone. Surely he won't hit the 3rd one, so I'm okay to just commit to the board. It wasn't really necessary. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Give us a like and subscribe if you liked this video. I'm always happy to talk more about Quinlan Vos and SWU in general. And good luck in your planetary qualifiers this weekend.